How are y'all this morning? Well, we're going to talk a little about being productive in changing times.
Hey, excuse me, can everybody hear him? Okay.
I got to get over here.
Let's get yours.
Okay.
This is on.
Are you sure? Okay. All right. Can you hear me now? All right. If not, I'll get louder. Just let me know. If you can't hear me, just raise your hand. I'll talk a little louder. Anyway, we're here to talk about being productive in changing times. Well, I want to take you back 77 years, start gardening. Okay? Remember now, you ever heard the saying, a penny saved is a penny earned?
Yes.
Okay, if you're going to be productive in growing food, we're going to have to save money on our fuel, on our water, and on our labor. This is what, and so if we save some money on it, then we're going to make more money on the end production. A lot of you sitting here in the tomato production, and you're in the tomato production, and that's what I'm interested in. And that's what I do mainly in the greenhouse. Okay, we're going to take you back to when I started gardening 77 years ago. This is what with the tools we had. We had a mule with a plow behind it. We'd change that plow to a disc and disc the garden, and then we'd change it to a harrow and harrow it, and then you were on your own with a hoe. We didn't have any seeders. None of that stuff like that they were talking about. You know, my wife and I, on the way up there this morning, we was talking about what we still use that we had back there we used 77 years ago. We came up with three things, actually. The Bible, it still stands. Okay? Yep. Silverware, we still use silver like we did then. And overalls, I still wear the same kind of overalls I did 77 years ago. So, remember now, back then we had no electricity, no phones. I was in the 8th grade before I ever talked on the telephone. It scared me to death the first time they called me to the office to talk on the telephone. In the 8th grade. So I remember it like it's yesterday. No electricity, well that shuts off all your electric things you have at home. Your heat, your air, your TV, your lights you turn on. You can just go right down the list, and there's nothing, there was nothing we had that you have today that we had back then. No computers, no cell phones. There were a few cars and there were a few pickups. Mostly we got around by wagon and a mule or wagon and horses. No melting machines. So anyway, why are we here talking about this changing times? If you'll notice, the last few years, our weather is changing. Now we're getting into excessive rains, excessive winds, excessive hail, excessive cold. It can be 60-something degrees, and tonight it may be 20-something tonight, okay? I just sold a greenhouse last night to a lady 70 miles north of here. She says she's going to get 8 inches of snow tonight. Okay. Anyway, all right, here we go. This is the way Dad planted the garden to start with, okay? We didn't have any greenhouses or high tones or anything. We had what you call cold frames. Now this is a little more fancy than I didn't have a picture of ours. Remember, there weren't many pictures taken back then. We had a little box camera that you rolled and took the pictures, and then you had to take that roll and have them developed to get the pictures back, and that was expensive. So anyway, this is a little fancier cold frame than what we had, but this is the way we raised our plants was in. We dug it out, put raw cow manure in there, and then put the soil on top of that for the heat. And we planted our seeds in there, and when they got up, 6 or 8 inches tall, we would pull them, and we had a faucet over here at the end of the bed, and we made a mud puddle underneath that faucet, and we rubbed those bare roots in that mud, and then went and planted them in the garden. So that's why we started. There's another little fancy one that's still fancier than what we had, but anyway, they've even got putting those in plugs. We did ours bare root at that time. Then we had progress after about 4 years of that. I can remember about using the mule and all. Then we got progress. We got a little Ford 8N. And we thought we really had progress, because we could plow with that moldboard, you know, and we had a disc that went beside it that raised up, you know. Now we really had progress. Well, we kind of jump a ways a little bit now into the greenhouse system, and this is where I started about 58 years ago. Now this is not the heaters I used 58 years ago. We couldn't find a picture of it, and I didn't take any pictures of the kind. We took a gas hot water burner out of the hot water tank and hooked it on a piece of pipe down on the ground and had that burner sitting there. We cut a metal barrel half in two, turned it upside down over that, and put sand on top of it. That's the way we heated the first greenhouses. And then as we went along, we got into some of these little fancier modem heaters and hired hand heaters and so forth. But that was the kind of the start of my greenhouse business down there 58 years ago. And we were raising lots of vegetable plants to starts for people. Back then we had lots of farmers. And then as we went along, they kind of fell by the wayside. In December of '99, I'm jumping ahead a little more, but my gas bill was $21,120 for that month. That's what I said. How am I going to pay this? This is going to break me. So I decided there in December of '99 I would learn how to grow food. I saw the kind of the writing on the wall, I guess you might speak, that, you know, if the economy gets tough, you don't have to have flowers. But guess what? You have to have food. So I kind of slipped over from growing flowers. I changed from growing vegetable transplants into growing flower transplants. And they evolved, because when we first started growing flowers, none of these nurseries would buy them if they had a bloom on them. They had to have them green. But before, I know some of the folks that passed away, some of the older ones that run those nurseries, if I didn't have a bloom on every one of those plants, they wouldn't take it. That's how much that involved over that few years of that. But anyway, we're back to this vegetable growing. This is my first year after '99, in that would have been in spring of 2000. I planted these plants. Now, I did use a little bit of heat to grow these transplants. When I put them out, they wasn't that big. We put them out in the ground in February in these high tunnels. Now, we quit using the heater. We shut them off. Now they're not greenhouses, now they're high tunnels. There's no heat in them, okay? We're going to learn how to grow without any kind of heat. And so we got these tomato plants growing, and then it was on February the 25th when I planted them. On March the 5th, the weatherman said it was going to get down to 16 degrees and possibly 10 inches of snow. And that's exactly what we had. It got down to 15 degrees and 10 inches of snow, and I refused to turn a heater on. I went in there, and what you can see is, I went up there about the middle string, and I put a plastic over the top of that, made one little tunnel over those tomatoes, and then I come up here, you can see those T-posts. We went over the top of those T-posts and made another layer. So you remember, we had one little layer down below, close to the ground, another layer up here about 4 feet, and then we had the high tunnel. So we had 3 layers of plastic. Each one of those layers is worth about 8 degrees to. So you multiply 3 times 8 is 24, add that to 16, what they come up with? 40 degrees. And I had a thermometer sitting at the north end under this plastic, and the coldest I ever caught it was 42 degrees. Never lost a tomato. So this was our start of our journey on these changing times of not having to purchase any fuel. There you can kind of see them, how we had the plastic. I already pulled it off there some, but we can imagine how we had over that bottom row, and then we had to pull that T-post. We put a pipe down top of those T-posts. And this is what those high tunnels looked like back then, just half arches. They were a half circle. Well, to start our transplants, we wanted to save fuel. We set up a house inside of the house, if you can see there. We had a heater, you see, sitting there at the end, and we did turn it on to get these seeds started, because you have to have it, you know, somewhere 75 to 80 degree soil temperature to get those seeds to germinate good. And as soon as they get up, then you can turn that heat off and let them drop down in the 40s, and you're just fine. You'll grow a good stocky plant.